welcome to Plas Newydd. We're on Anglesey and it's a lovely little garden. If you have been here, you might have been inside the house and seen the beautiful paintings by Rex Whistler. It's a lovely location. We're by the sort of Menai Straits, and you've got the protection of the Gulf Stream, so we should get quite a good collection of plants here. And I'm sort of just in amongst a whole grove of eucalypti which have really shot up, and you've got that beautiful patterns in the bark and the beautiful trees. Let's take a look to see what we can find. So we've got some pretty big phormiums, cookianums just in amongst here. Lovely New Zealand plant which has flowered well. There's quite a group here of Nothovagus, and you can see here that there's a little grove of Nothovagus looking good, and over to my right it looks like a real Nothovagus nervosa. So we've had the Dombii one and now we've got nervosa. You see a nice podocarpus here, lovely sort of green needle-like leaves, green stem. Another good New Zealand plant, Pittosporum, doing well and getting quite high. And there's a nice surprise, a little Wallaby Pine just tucked away here, and that is a nice little delicacy, tucked away. Some of the oldest trees in the world, the Wallaby Pines. Just looking through, we can see a good stand of Cordyline australis, so Australia and New Zealand are very well represented here. Looks like we've also got the South African Watsonias as well, a beautiful bulb there in amongst the grass. Oh, there's a little Colletia with those very thorny, spiky leaves on it. And there's a good amount of orchids. This is the Dactylorhiza, looking good. And that looks great. Beautiful little wild orchid. A little knapweed centuria by the side of it. We've got some nice Crocia cotoneaster tucked away here, good little group of them. It's a lovely little myrtle there, just in the distance. You can see that beautiful brown bark, and then you've got little flowers there. Beautiful plant. And just to the left of the myrtle we've got a bottlebrush tree there, Callistemon, with a very nice Eucalyptus gunnii above it with the perfoliate leaves. We're in this beautiful arboretum at Plas Newydd, and you can see here that they've got a good collection of hemlocks and a really interesting plant. Look how the needle on the middle turns over on its back, so you can tell the hemlock with these shortened cones as well. But it's a beautiful plant, looks great from a distance. There's these beautiful arching branches on the Suga. Looking down the valley, and I can see there that funny shaped tree in the middle, that sort of almost rectangular tree, is a Calocedrus decurrens, the incense cedar. And that's quite an interesting upright tree. Superb tree here in full flower, and look at the size of the flower. We've also got some lovely Stewartias here. They have a beautiful bark and these lovely individual camellia-like flowers. It's beautiful Crinodendron hookerianum, the lovely lantern, Chinese lantern tree. Just gone over and looking a little bit old, but it's nice. You come into that beautiful hydrangea aspera type, and then into the more large mop heads, the macrophylla types. Another beautiful myrtle here. We just go into it so you can see the bark, and just look, it's flowering lovely, that lovely myrtle kind of flower, and look at the bark, that's beautiful patterns on it as you go up through, really quite stunning. Nice Persian ironwood here. This is Parotia persica, makes a lovely specimen in a lawn. We have a magnificent Circidiphyllum japonicum. Just look at the size of that and the beautiful, sort of lovely sort of heart-shaped leaves. and this is going to be a lovely golden yellow in the autumn with that beautiful sort of sweet smell, that sort of toffee apple smell. And then the shrub layer at the bottom of it is all Hydrangea macrophylla. Then we have a good stand of Howearias that's tucked away. Here's a nice Acergricium, paperbark maple, looking good. So here you can see Plas Newydd. There's the Menai Straits, the bridge just coming over, and you've got this lovely sort of area which is protected by the Gulf Stream. Beautiful Magnolia grandiflora just flowering. So one of the advantages of having the protection of the Gulf Stream, you get incredible fuchsia hedges, and they look really good. But we're going to go and have a look at the Italian terraces, and so here we go, and already it looks really interesting. In this sort of wall at the front we've got the fleabane, Erigeron caravenscus, and let's go and take a walk up the steps and see what we can find. Well, just at the base we've got this lovely water feature, semicircular, sort of a little bit of paving at the bottom. We've got a lovely keystone at the top of that arch, and that's a nice way to finish the bottom of the terrace. We'll take a walk up the steps. So as we come at the top of the steps, you've got this lovely formal lily pool, and you've got that gargoyle greeting you. And as we look across to the right, you've got a really stunning hot border of cannas. Across to the left here, you've got lovely Helianum autumnale. You've got Euphorbia Fireglow, Griffii Fireglow. There's Miscanthus. There's some Crinodendrons up at the back, and you've got Alstroemeria. You've got Montbretia there, sorry, Crocosmia lucifer. Lovely purple Ricinus at the back there. And you've got a whole assortment of different sort of hot colours. So as we spin around from the hot garden, just see some Lilium regala there, but we're going to spin round and have a look at this border to the right, which is somewhat cooler, starting with Eryngiums and Agastaceae on the left, moving through to Veronicastrums, Agapanthus, beautiful Verbena rigida there in the foreground. We've got some lovely Salvias, lovely Veronicastrum, and then at the base you've got some lovely Verbenas, more Agapanthus and roses, more Agastaceae, Nepeta, all the way through, and it's a lovely border, and both borders repeat themselves on the other side. So we've got hot and cool in this, on this little Italianate terrace, with fantastic views of course outside it. And then it's punctuated at the bottom with two Irish yews. So we've got the Irish yews with some box which has just been taken into sort of like a monopitch, just to make that top shed the snow in the winter, and that looks quite nice. And some nice urns at the base of the garden. So, having done that terrace, let's go and take a look at the next terrace. We'll take a walk up the steps. I can see that lovely trelliage with those beautiful finials on it at the top, which look great. Let's go and take a look. It's interesting that this terrace is very simple, and so you've kind of had the very intense hot and cool colours, but if we look at the structure of the terraces on this one, they're much simpler. You've got Fatsia japonicum there in the foreground. You've got a bit of Acanthus mollis. We move across, you've got the Irish yew, you've got an Abelia there, a couple of Abelias, slightly more golden form, Mahonia, Trachycarpus. Moving across, you've got a little bit of Catalpa poking its head out there with Hydrangea, Quercifolia, more Irish yew, more Abelia, and right the way across to Aspirea, right on the very end there. Across to the other side, it's a repeat, but you can see that the seat there is quite a nice little focal point at the other end. And now we're going to go and have a walk up to see this trelliage on the top terrace. So let's take a walk up here. You can see some nice toad flax growing there, Linaria, which is quite nice and popping out the walls. And as we make our way up, we've now into this other area. I can see there's some sort of salmisias that are there, New Zealand plant. So it's quite a hot border, but again very well protected. Lots of terracotta pots, really nice trelliage. And then you've got this Artemisia here, which looks really good. And then we've got this really interesting sort of feature underneath the trelliage, because lots of toad flax and a splenium, a spleenwort, and then the base is a cobble mosaic with concentric rings of these cobbles, which is quite an interesting feature in its own right. Good textures here. Lovely Vitis coinetia brand up above our heads, and more salmisias, and we've again got the sort of juniperous skyrocket plant on the far side there. And as we look around the building, we've got some fantastic little borders with convolvulus in there. There's beautiful eryngiums and gaur at the back, salvias popping up everywhere. And it's just a repeat of these plants, but it looks really good. Some lovely red salvia there tucked in, and a beautiful border really with lots of sort of pinks and blues. And over the other side, we've got the beautiful verbena, we got lavateria, we got phlox. More Nepeta, there's one or two pentstemons tucked in there, eryngium, there are erodiums and geraniums, and look at the eucalyptus sticking up there, which adds some nice foliage into the design, and it just keeps repeating itself quite beautifully along that wall, and it looks quite stunning. And from the back, it just looks like a flower arrangement with the eucalypti providing the foliage, and the phlox and the Nepeta and different things providing the flowers.